Hey guys, sorry, George Walker Primitive. Sorry for the location. I got a highway in the background, so I'll try to talk loud enough. I hope you all can hear me, and I apologize for the background noise. But did a couple videos. Did one video on the high bar suspension cooking system. I'm going to go over another cooking system here today too for hanging. Another one just like that one for hanging bailed pots or hanging pots and whatnot. But this is called the quick rig, or it's a quick, simple way to set up a hanging pot cook system. A lot less complex than the last one. The last one I had to do a lot of shaving, carving, and whatnot, cutting down trees. But for this one, the reason it's called quick is quick and simple. The only tool I used was my hatchet. It's the only tool I needed to use. And the only wood I needed was one sapling. And I took this one sapling down to process it for this video. And I'm not burning a fire out here today. I'm in a place where I can't have fire, so this little pile of wood right here is our make-believe little pretend camping fire for cooking. And for this method, like I said, we needed one sapling. I got this one sapling. And the way you're going to measure how much you need, or how much of this sapling I needed, was I'm using medium to lightweight pots, hanging pots, cook sets. You know, small lightweight thing. You know, I want a piece about 1 arm span away, or 1 inch arm span length. I'm using heavier pots, larger pots. You know, you're going to want one about 2 arm spans. You know, you can see I went a little over 1 arm span. About maybe went 1 1/4 arm span, just for good measure. Plus it's the size of the sapling that I found. You know, like I said, it's a quick method. The only tools I needed were the hatchet. I took the sapling down with the hatchet, delimbed it real quick, and on the bottom portion, I went ahead and I chopped in a spike into it, stake point into it. And the purpose of that is, over here in the ground, about the distance, the way you measure this is, I got the point sitting on the ground, and it's extending almost completely over the top of the fire. It's going to shorten up a little bit, so you want to make sure that you're, at least to the opposite side of the fire of where you want the pot to be. That's how far the distance. We're going to lay it down. You can see the fire. It comes all the way out. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to ram that into the ground. I'm going to ram that spike into the ground as far as I can, or as hard and sturdy as I can. It's not going to be in there 100%. The ground's soft. It might move a little bit, but that's okay. We're going to be fixing that problem here in a second. So that's about what we got right now. Okay, we got that pot, that stick centered down there. We're going to push it down just a little bit so it's not sticking too far from the ground. Now the next thing we need a support. We need a support, one, to hold the branch from going all the way down when we put a pot on it, and 2, to keep it from going side to side. And the quick, simplest way to do that is just to take 2 sticks, these are 2 limbs that were off of this tree, put 2 stake points down at the end of that one with my hatchet, and I just tied a piece of 550 cord around it, any cordage, tie a piece of 550 cord around it, and just twist it into a little bipod. That's all we're doing. Just twisting. The only reason I'm twisting this around even is just to tighten it up some, so it's just a little bit more extra stability. And now we've got ourselves a little bipod. You're going to take that, make sure you got your stake points down, obviously, both facing the same direction. It might be a little painful when you go to drive it in. And we're going to support that, we're going to go all the way up until it starts to touch, okay? And now you notice I got the leg straight forward. Now what we're going to do is kind of pan them just a little bit towards the fire, and then we'll just drive them into the ground. Alright? And now our stake is held, our pot hanger is held in place. It's not going to come down any further, and it's also stabilized side by side. It's quick and easy. That's why it's called the quick rig. Alright, so it's quick and easy. One thing you want to keep in mind, you can do this with a large rock, a log, whatever have you. I cut this sapling down, so I made the most out of the use of this wood. Use it for the stand. But you can put a large rock, anything you want. You can put your pack in here to make the fulcrum point. But the thing that you have to consider is the closer this fulcrum point is down to the base, the more leverage it has. Alright? So if I put this all the way down here, it's going to have more leverage. If I put weight on here, once I hang my pot, it's going to put enough leverage, it could put enough weight and leverage to pop it right out of the ground. So that's one thing you know, you got to consider when you set this up. That's why it's important if you use heavy pots to use 2 arm length spans of wood, so that way you're not getting as much leverage. If your point will be way out there, your cross member will be right here, and you wouldn't get that leverage. You know, like I said, this is quick. There's many different methods of doing this. We can do all kinds of fancy stuff. There's all kinds of fancy stuff you can do this, but this is a quick, easy method. I kind of want to work up up the scale in fanciness as far as these pot hanging systems. A whole bunch of different systems out there, but this is quick and easy. So now all you have to do, once again, utilizing the same exact sapling, is make myself a pot hanger using my hatchet. I carved a little notch in there to hang a bale, and I just used the Y off of the, you know, the split was growing out, the limb growing out like this. Cut the limb off, use one limb for the supports, and then one limb for the pot hanger. And then you simply just hang your pot on there. Of course, I'm using a green sapling. You know, you want to use, you know, if you can use dead standing wood. If it's hard wood and it's not dry and it's not, you know, funky and brittle, you know, it could be safer use for this. But you know, you got to pay attention to using it, because you know, you don't want it to be dry and the weight of the pot sitting on there while it's cooking, causing it to fall off and everything fills with your fire. And the pot hanger, though, you want to make sure you use green wood for those, just so that way fire doesn't lick up onto it. You know, you're not catching it on fire. If it's dry rotted, you're not going to split. Your notch isn't going to be weak and fall apart and drop the pot into the fire. But now you can see, that's why it was important to measure that. I did put it a little bit too short, but that's okay. You can always kick your fire over a little bit. But then now you have your pot hanger to hang it, and that's it. That's done. That's the quick pot rig, or the quick rig pot hanging system. Now, what if you don't have 550 cord? What if you're in a situation where you don't have any cordage, or you know, because if I did not have this cordage on here, you know, these could slide. They wouldn't stay sturdy. So what happens if you don't have cordage, or you can't sacrifice any cordage? You can't make any cordage, whatever reason. That's a quick and easy fix. Using the same exact tree that we just used, I found once again 2 more limbs and cut them so that way they both had a Y, and cut the spike point down the end. Now all I have to do is put those Ys together, cross them, angle them just like we did with the last ones, drive them into the ground, and once again, we got that stability. I don't have it split dribble in the ground. Hold my knees. And once again, you got that stability and keep it from going side to side. And we didn't have to use or waste or use any cordage, you know, to make that pot hanger stable. But that's it. Like I said, that's the quick pot rig. Where's my pot hook go? That's the quick rig hanging pot hook system. And just a quick little video to show you that. We're going to step it up a little bit in a later one. In a later video, show a couple modifications that we can do with this. I'm having no luck today with cameras. This video cut off, that battery died. That's just a quick little easy rig. I hope to share that with you. There are a bunch of different fancy ones you can do. There's all kinds of things you can do to this. In later videos, we are going to discuss some of them. Talk about some more fancier pot hanging methods for more of a long-term camping situation or long-term survival situation to make cooking around the fire a little bit easier. This is just a quick, simple method using just a hatchet, just one sapling, and that's all I need to go ahead and effect a good pot hanging system. And so, you know, it helps out to keep pots off the fire. You know, you can keep pots off the fire and you can move them down as they're cooking. If you need to cool it down, you can just move it down along the pole so you can pull it away from the fire. If you don't want to take it off the fire, you want to keep something warm, you move it closer. You know, if you need to bring water back to a boil, you bring it up to the front. And this gives you something that you can use to move your pot back and forth along the fire. Keep in mind, like I said, depending on how heavy your pot is, also considering how much water you'll be putting in the pot, you know, is how long you need to make this. This one here, my German cooking kit that I use, it will hold that perfectly fine. Canteen cup suspended from a baling wire, it'll hold perfectly fine. If I want to use something like a miniature cast iron pot or something like that, then yes, like I said at the beginning of the video, you'll need something about 2 arm spans in length, being sure that your cross member is further down, not closer to the bottom, or else it's going to create too much leverage and pull it right out of the ground. So just wanted to share that with you. Once again, like I said, I'll be doing some more videos, different variations of this. There's some that can move. You can move this around, adjust it, different heights and all that. A little bit more fancier, starting off with the basics of how to make this simply. So you can go out and practice it. We'll crawl, walk, and run our way up to making a whole bunch of different pot hanging systems. So I'm Sarge, North Walker Primitive. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.